And then we're gonna have a second time of silence for the people who passed away, unfortunately, due to the zero COVID policies in China, and also due to the fire, and everyone who died because of the concentration camps. Yeah, so if everyone can, please take a silence for 1 minute, and then we'll continue. Right now we're going to the second stage of this gathering, which is anyone who wants to speak is free to take the mic. And then this will continue for 40 minutes, and afterwards we're gonna play a couple songs, and everyone can just either sing along or just listen and feel the power behind the lyrics. So if anyone wants to speak, feel free to take the mic.
Hold my candle, please. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you, everybody. I'm going to introduce myself very briefly. My name is Mansour. I'm a student here on this campus. I kind of come on, not on behalf of, but I'm a part of the Muslim Student Association here on campus. I used to be vice president of it for about 3 years, and now I'm in my last semester at Cmu. I'm going to begin by doing a bit of a recitation of verses from the Holy Quran. So I just ask for respect and silence while I do so, and I'll read the translation. God willing. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلاة من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. صدق الله العظيم. The translation, for those of you who don't know, in Islamic faith, we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, is speaking to us directly. So in these verses, He says, "So remember me, and I will remember you, and be grateful to me, and do not deny me. O you have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. And do not say about those who are killed in the way of Allah that they are dead. Rather, they are alive, but you do not perceive it. And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient, who when disaster strikes them say, indeed we belong to Allah, and indeed to Him we will return. Those are the ones upon whom are blessings from their Lord and mercy, and it is those who are the rightly guided." I thank you for your patience and your respect when listening to these verses. I begin with them because we cannot forget that the Uyghur people, that these people who have suffered for a long time under the current regime's oppression, are Muslim. That is a core part of their identity. and myself and these people, we share the same faith. And our faith teaches that between Muslims, we are brothers in our religion. And so I'm going to speak in a religious manner because that is what the current regime is trying to erase and suppress in the first place. In terms of my involvement with the MSA, we actually, about 2 years ago, in 2019, just before the pandemic, we painted this fence in support of the Uyghurs. And we were met with backlash, to say the least. We had campus police be called on us. We were called terrorist sympathizers. We had people come to us and try to intimidate us and talk us out of it. And so, put simply, this is not my first rodeo, and this is not MSA's first rodeo. And the message and what I've learned from that experience, and the message that I have to people who are going to try to intimidate us or try to ask us to back down or to just be silent and mind their own business, we are not afraid of you. In the same way that they tried to silence us, in the way that they tried to silence and suppress the Islam from the Uyghur people and persecuting them because of it, we are not afraid of you. We as Muslims, we only fear one entity, and that fear is Allah, God. And Allah is more powerful than anything in this universe. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if you see something evil, change it with your hand. And if you cannot do that, then change it with your tongue. And if you cannot do that, then hate it with your heart, and that is the lowest form of faith. I remember about 2 years ago when we painted this fence, somebody once very angrily asked me, where are you from? Seeing that I am clearly not Chinese. And I said, I'm from New York and my family's from Egypt. And he said, why do you as a New Yorker care about what's happening in China? And I say that this is what my religion teaches me. When I see evil or injustice anywhere, it is my duty as a Muslim to either change it with my actions if I can, and if I can't, then I speak against it, and if I can't, at the very least, dislike it with my own heart. And we have the ability to speak. I might not be able to change the evil with my hand. I hope to be given the ability to do that one day, but this is speaking with the tongue, and that is what all of us are doing. The Prophet ﷺ also said that we as Muslims are like one body. If one part of it is afflicted with an illness, the whole body feels the sleeplessness and the fever because of that affliction in that one body. So the emphasis of unity is so important in a gathering like this. You see, it's a part of our identity to speak against injustice and oppression and to speak for those who do not have a voice. And you can see here that there is nothing you can do to me that is worse than what is being done to the Uyghurs. Whatever, you threaten to take my job away, you threaten to kick me out of this campus, you threaten me with physical violence, that pales in comparison to what they are going through. To being separated from their families. When they cry, I cry. When they suffer, I suffer. Their pain is mine, and their pain should be ours. They are being persecuted for things that I am doing and just being in this gathering. If you have a long beard like myself, goodbye, go to the camp. If you recite verses of the Quran, if you have a copy of it in your home, goodbye, go to the camp. So this is a direct affront on our identity as people. And because I'm a proud practicing Muslim, when I see somebody who does what I do, and I see them, and I see myself in those people, that I would be arrested and separated from my family and tortured until I renounce my faith and pledge allegiance to the Communist Party of China. But they fail to realize, the oppressors, that the book and the religion that they hate so much actually gives glad tidings, as I just recited, to those who are tested and who are patient and those who are martyred for the sake of their faith. And that they will receive blessings and mercy from their Lord, and they don't realize that they will never succeed because they might have guns and cameras and camps and tanks, but we have the support of Allah. My Lord and your Lord, the one who created me and you and everything in this universe, and the one who will judge us on what we used to do in this world and in our next. And verily, Allah is with us. Allah is with the patient. So as I mentioned before, I'm leaving in a few weeks. This is my last semester on this campus. And my message to everyone in this gathering is to encourage you all to keep speaking about this and do not be intimidated by anybody or be distracted by the hustle and bustle of daily life, work, exams, projects, office hours, what have you, because when we see what happens to my brothers and sisters, the pain and the suffering they go through, we realize that we as people living in the United States and Pittsburgh, we are so incredibly blessed and privileged to have what we have, that we can wake up and call our families and say, Mom, Dad, I love you. That's a privilege that they don't have. And we are reminded that there is so much more to this world and to this life than the day-to-day hustle for material gain, the grind, rise up and get this bread, whatever. So in conclusion, my heart goes out to the Uyghur people, especially to those who have been brutalized under the regime, who their suppression and their neglect and being put into forced labor situations has resulted in deaths like the ones that we saw. And I ask and I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant those who have been killed as martyrs and grant them the highest levels of paradise for their struggle. And I pray that Allah grants those who are alive with patience and victory against their oppressors. And may Allah accept their prayers and their dua, as we believe that the dua of the oppressed is always accepted. And lastly, I want to thank every single one of you for coming out here and showing your support. It really means the world to me, and it absolutely warms my heart that so many people care about this and are willing to show up in full force and to use their bodies and their voice to do something about this. I encourage you all to keep fighting the good fight. Do not falter, because we all have to commit to our choice to be on the right side of history. And I can say with firmness and conviction that you are all on the right side of history. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you all for coming out here tonight. My name is Anne. I'm a socialist. I'm a member of Socialist Alternative, which is part of International Socialist Alternative. The words I'm going to be saying tonight are actually not going to be my words. It's going to be a speech from a member of International Socialist Alternative who is from China and can't speak tonight because of safety reasons. I'm sure all of you have heard about all the stories of brutal oppression by the CCP regime over the past couple of days. And this is what she said. We gather today in condolence of the victims of the Urumqi fire and to all who suffer under the zero COVID policy. We are angry at the complete absence of constitutional rights, including freedom of speech, freedom of gatherings, and freedom to strike. We stand in solidarity with the young people and workers who are fighting against zero COVID and those who are also fighting for a democratic future. For these reasons, we must examine who exactly is responsible for this systemic crisis in China. Who benefits from continually exploiting and controlling ordinary people? Many voices have defined the CCP as dictatorship by an individual. But Xi Jinping isn't the only person profiting at unimaginable rates under the zero COVID strategy. The pharmaceutical companies do that. Xi isn't the only one who benefits from newly implemented abortion restrictions, discriminatory practices against minorities that divide and harm working people. The rest of his cronies do that too. Xi Jinping isn't the only person who profits off of the dangerously escalating Cold War. The war hawks and arms manufacturers do that as well. If this doesn't sound familiar to you, then you must not pay attention to how the United States and the rest of the world works. Those in power don't want democracy, and will make damn sure there isn't a way to reform ourselves out of this rotten system. The fight for democracy is only possible as a fight against the whole system. We cannot forget that this movement should be a genuinely international struggle as well, and I'm proud to stand here halfway across the world to carry it with me and with you all. Although students and intellectuals helped spark this movement, it is the workers, the youth, and all ordinary people that have the power to end oppression. We should stand with the Foxconn iPhone workers in Zhengzhou who started a strike that signified the first flame in the darkness. This isn't a story of the evil East and the free West. We need a story about solidarity against both the rich and powerful in China and the US. Solidarity that goes beyond this movement and touches every corner of the world. Here, I call for 全世界无产阶级联合起来 and finally, 人民万岁. Thank you.
Alright guys, I'm from Urumqi, I'm a Uyghur. I'm really happy to you guys be here tonight, and we have a really beautiful night and a really peaceful night. Actually, I want to start my speech in English, but I want to spread more in China. I want more Chinese people to know what is going on in their country, so I want to start my speech in Chinese. Thank you. 首先，我先谢谢大家为乌鲁木齐这些遇难者举办这次活动。当时我听到这个消息的时候，确实怎么说呢，是喜忧参半吧。喜的是什么呢？喜的是这么多人加入我们。我参加过很多这种抗议活动，从来没有这么多人跟我们在一起站到过我们这边，特别是学生。而且这些学生大部分我看都是汉族同胞、汉族同学。记住，中国有14亿汉族同学，如果你们站起来了，共产党的灰飞烟灭只是弹指间的事情。忧的是什么呢？忧的是李文亮医生贵州的27人的大巴，及300万维吾尔族在concentration camp 在集中营，以及这次被大火烧死的44人，官方说的只有10个人，其实是44，大家都知道是44个人。他们活时候，国家共产党当局者没有把他们当人看，把他们锁在楼洞里。死了以后，他们连数字都不算，都没能纳入共产党他们那个本子里，都没纳入他们的人口死亡记录里。这么多血案，这么多案件发生，才引起今天我们站到这儿。我想说的是，我们怎么能睡得这么死呀？我们睡得有点太沉了，是不是？好在我们今天大家我们都已经站起来了，当然站起来比跪着要舒服多了，这都是我们已经意识到的事情。我是从刚才我看到有乌鲁木齐的牌子是吧？我刚刚看到有个人把乌鲁木齐牌子举起来了。我能拿这个牌子吗 ？Thank you。我们就是从这个地方来的。我出生在这里，我生长在这里，我完成第一次大学学业也是在这里。44个人着火的那个地方，就离我们家几站路。那场大火烧死的是我的孩子，是我的父母，是我的朋友，是我像你们这样的同胞。我依然记得那个3岁还是4岁的孩子在喊妈妈，太黑了，你在哪？妈妈你在哪？妈妈我不能呼吸的时候，你们知不知道我是什么感觉？心颤的感觉，我第一次感觉到心颤的感觉。当局者还恬不知耻地说什么居民缺少自救意识，自救能力弱。我就想说，自救那是一种能力，没有强弱之分。你混蛋，你共产党，你这么评价死去的人。44个人被封了4个月，那些孩子在临死之前1个月，只是吃萝卜，没饭吃，吃萝卜。朋友们，拿白菜充饥，吃的是萝卜。那些孩子死之前都没吃过一顿饱饭，没有吃过一顿好饭。古代封建王朝都有一个规矩，给即将执行死刑的人有个断头饭，他们都有权利吃好的。但我们维吾尔族小孩、汉族人各个民族都没有这个权利。 这不就是一个当局者的错误吗？怎么说呢？其实我准备了很多话，今天是反抗政权革命是要流血，但不是3岁小孩流的血。3岁小孩冲在了我们的前面，我可以这么说。我们和也以对，在未来，在别的世界相见时，我们怎么去面对他们？所有历史上的 free 都不是 freedom is not free， 都需要人民去流血，都需要人民去反抗。从我们看东欧的天安门革命、柏林墙的倒塌，到苏共的倒台，到台湾民主化的进程，他们都有一个共同点，那是什么？那是人民团结起来，站起来反抗当局者，反抗 dictatorship。我们站起来，哎，同胞们，你们想想，大部分人称之为新疆，我们维吾尔族人称之为 East Turkestan。我们2000万维吾尔人都能搅得中共当局茶不思饭不想，夜不能寐，每天去想办法去怎么让我们闭上我们的嘴，怎么让我们停止对人权的要求。想想你们我们汉族14亿人，我们每个人跺一跺脚，我相信都能把中南海那一帮领导层从床上给他们震下来，是不是这个道理，朋友们？
是。
我们一定要团结。刚才，谢谢大家。刚才我在后面，我听到2个同学在聊天，他们说我们今天过来为了悼念，为了发泄情绪。其实也不知道有没有什么意义。我说有意义啊，我当时没说，我现在说有意义，确实有意义。你想有一天当中国共产党倒台时候，站在这里的每个人都有你们的功劳，你们知道吗？你们每一个人今天站在这里都是有功劳的，因为你们站在这里，共产党倒台；因为你们站在这里，未来就没有人因为自由而被捕；因为你们站在这里，未来没有人会被在大火中而逃出去而死亡；因为你们站在这里，你们不会因为举着白纸，未来你们的孩子不会因为举着白纸而被抓。从头到尾，我的意思就是，我希望我们团结，我们不分民族。之前我们看着 Tibet， 然后看着维吾尔族被抓，然后看着我们香港同胞被虐待，然后现在我们轮到我们自己头上了。我们一定要对他们说不，他们最害怕的就是老百姓对他们说不。
Improve our standards of morality. Improve your moral standards. Be an upright person. Be an upright citizen. Think about that. If the hospital workers, they are righteous citizens, they would not refuse the emergent patients out of the hospitals. They would not refuse the pregnant woman outside of the hospital. The pregnant woman, they would not miscarry. They would not die. Think about that. If the police, they are righteous persons, they are honest persons, they care about the citizens, they would not violently beaten the Chinese citizens who express their legitimate opinions. They would not arrest Peng Zaizhou. If the Chinese rulers in Guizhou, they are righteous persons, they would not transfer patients to quarantine camps in Guizhou, resulting 27 people to be killed in a traffic accident. If we are all righteous persons, CCP, the Chinese government, they will fear us. They will fear us if we are righteous person, righteous citizen. So, I propose an initiative. I advocate the people here
to improve our moral standards, to be a righteous citizen. 我们不做奴才，做公民。
不做奴才，做公民。
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 Right now, anyone can light candles.
Hi. Alright. So I'm going to make this brief because I don't know what to say, but all I want to emphasize is that I personally believe that the right to disagree, the right to dissent is very, very important. That's the only way we can hold any country, not just China, not just the United States, accountable. That's the only way we can make any country live up to its ideals, live up to its full potential. And now in China, they have taken away that right. I mean, have you heard the news? Like, they're cracking down on the protests. That's not okay. People have the right to protest. People have the freedom to disagree. And that's why I stand with the protesters in China. And I just hope the best for them. And I support free speech in China. Alright, thank you.
Alright, 大家听得到吗？首先，我非常感谢大家能在这儿一起来支持这件事。我也知道很多人会说，为什么我们要出来？你上街了又能改变什么？他们这些人根本他们是懦夫，没有资格来嘲笑我们。你我都是乌鲁木齐大火里居民楼里的人，我们也是贵州大巴车上的人，也都是丰县铁链女，也都是唐山烧烤的女士。我们只是运气够好，今天死的不是我们，我们只是运气够好，我们有机会可以在这里能出国读书，能去看一看外面的世界。对于积极，就是对于集权还有一点反抗，我觉得都是值得鼓励的。其实我也不歧视那些粉红，他们的言论虽然说能一时让我火大，但冷静下来，我觉得他们只是出生在谎言里的可怜人。谢谢大家，这是我作为一个有良知的人最后能做的，谢谢。
听得到吗？
听得到。
我想对在这个贩子上写傻逼、直人、反贼的人说，我相信今天我们有这么多人在这儿，每个人对不同的政治议题可能会有不同的观点，因为我们有不同的教育背景，我们有不同的性别、民族，还有一些宗教文化。但是如果你对于这些近在咫尺的呼喊，这些都是人命和血活生生堆出来的呼喊和呼救。如果你面对这些你无动于衷，你还只想着怎么给人贴标签，那我想说，你不仅作为一个中国人，你作为一个人类已经没有救了。最后我想说，共产党下台，习近平下台，谢谢大家。
共产党下台！共产党下台！习近平下台！习近平下台！共产党下台！共产党下台！
So, as an undergraduate who recently just escaped China like 3 months and a half ago, there's some words I want to say to us all here. If you're a Chinese and you've lived in China, of course, you know that the CCP has been telling us a lot of lies ever since we were kindergarten kids, probably. You know, they told us they would promote national unity, but the truth is they're persecuting minorities within the nation. And they told us they would serve the people, but they're just ignoring our needs. And like now, in the COVID pandemic, they tell us that the lockdown policies are for everyone's own goods, but these innocent people, they're dying because of the COVID measures. And not just the 10 people, the Uyghurs who died in resident fire, and also 27 people who died in the Guizhou bus accident, and pregnant women and asthma patients, patients with kidney failures. All these happened during the Shanghai lockdown. That happened March this year, which I actually endured. So you guys all know that what they're telling us are just lies. And you know who's buying these lies? Well, there are people, and I bet they're just right here, right among the crowds. Those crazy nationalists, huh? Probably came down here like 4 a.m. in the morning just to scribble with these blackbirds on their fence and vandalizing stuff. Pretty crazy, And to all these crazy nationalists who are in the crowd now, I would just like to say to you, you guys can all fuck off.
Good speech.
Hey everyone, I just really want to first thank the organizers and everyone who come up here, show up, the support for everyone back home in China and everyone who live on the land. I only speak for myself, and I've been thinking a lot, obviously for a long time, but especially this week, like what we could do better, we people, my people, and if you identify yourself, you see yourself in me, I think we're gathered here because we're in pain and we're sad and we want to mourn for the loss of lives. And we want to ask for things like this, man-made disasters to not happen again. And we want to have a better future, better hope. And I want to say first thing is to people here who maybe support CCP or Xi Jinping, don't come to a conclusion so fast. Listen to what everyone here is saying. I didn't suffer more than anyone here already suffered more. I don't feel more pain than anyone here already felt. And I want to say, if here's anyone, if you're working for the government, you're trying to find out who we are, trying to find out our identity, and go after our families and friends back home, shame on you. But I ask you to join us to listen to everyone here and support their freedom of expression. I wrote some bullet points here. I think for a lot of us here, and I speak for maybe you're Chinese born and you're born in China, you came here, it's probably the first time for a lot of us to gather together and protest for something. I don't have more experience than anyone here, but I said I really want myself and I really want everyone here to practice all the values that you promote here. If you promote for freedom of speech, if you promote for democracy, practice that in everything you do. And I say that because I think perhaps one day what we do here, how we do these things, may speak louder than any of these demands here, all around the globe. And the second thing I think for all of us is to be more caring, more understanding, more empathy, to support everyone around us, support our friends, support their rights to speak. We want to support all the women's rights. We want to support the feminist movement, who perhaps paved the way for all of us to gather here and ask for more human rights in China. We want to support Uyghurs. We want to support our friends in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, and we want to support everyone who's under this oppression from our government. And I think when we're coming here, we're not just simply making one demand, not simply taking a side of this thing, but to understand, to find out why everyone here is making these demands, where they come from, what's their perspective, because we want to support conversation, understanding, and we need more people back home, all around the world to join us. And if there's anyone within us who has the voice of racial discrimination, who's discriminating against women, who's homophobia, who is pro-war, anti-peace, anti-science, I think we, no matter what our political stance is, should all come out. Even if you support CCP, if you support our president, you should all come out and denounce, condemn these voices. And the very last thing I thought was protests like this, probably for most of the Chinese people, has not happened for over 30 years or so. And in the last 30 years, we lost our rights little by little, little by little. And more of our friends that live there lost their lives for man-made disasters, and we don't even see the hope of government and the society to prevent things like this to happen again. And I thought if I learn anything from what happened 30 years, if I learned more than two things, the first thing is this government, to stay in power, they would sacrifice lives, hundreds, thousands of lives, just for themselves to stay in power. And the second thing is, if we make the same mistakes again, if we do not protect our friends, let them lose their lives, then perhaps we'll go into another 30 years of silence, and another 30 years, and another 30 years. And I don't think our generation wants that. I think 30 years of silence is so long, it's so loud, it's deafening. So I think myself and everyone here to keep this anger in you, but also keep up the hope. We need to protect ourselves, protect everyone around us, protect our friends, and we also protect this hope that we all gather here. Because if you look all around the world, all the civil rights movement, they don't happen in one night, they don't happen in a week. They go on for years or decades, and we have to stay on the fight. And that's all I have. Thank you.
我这里的口号可能喊起来会比较爽快，你说习近平下台，共产党下台。但说实话，这样的口号可能反而让大家在国内没有办法去影响到，或者说去真的感化到被真相蒙蔽的这些就是真正在中国生活的人。然后包括我之前比如说发生一些什么事情，然后我在想，比如说要不要转到朋友圈或者怎么样。当然有些事情可能转了以后你的朋友圈就没了，但是我有些时候，比如说我转了，然后会有同学来问我，或者会有那个之前的老师来问我说，到底是个什么样的情况。然后当我发现就是可能有些事情，你也不需要去说太多，你只需要把一些真相，或者说他们本来可能看不到的一些事情告诉他们，然后也不指望说所有人都真的去上街，冒着自己的这个不能说生命危险吧，但是冒着自己的一些就是政治危险或者说前途的危险去上街，真的做这样的抗议事情，可能并不是所有人都能做到。但我觉得如果大家都能够去更多的把真相传播给在中国可能不能够看到一些事情的人，然后怎么说呢？就是我觉得也希望大家更多的理解说为什么国内的同胞们可能对一些事情会比较抵触或者比较反抗，可能有些话，如果你用一种很过激的语言去讲，可能人家根本就听不进去，因为他根本没有办法以那个方式去思考。所以我觉得，希望大家能够多沟通，然后能让一些事情，能让一些真相真的在国内传播起来。然后沟通的时候，也要注意方式。我觉得大家可以更多的把更多的真相传给去，而很多观点，我觉得大家自有自的想法，这就是一些我的愚见，谢谢。
You all are incredible. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for caring. It's an unspeakable tragedy that we're witnessing, and I think it's important that we come here and we unite. One interesting fact about myself is I've lived all around the world, and I've had the luxury of getting to know a variety of different cultures. I've spent time with Africans, black people like myself, with Mexican people, maybe too much time with Indians because I'm starting to smell like their food. I eat it all the time. And I've spent a lot of time with Chinese people as well. And one of the things that I've learned that might be a little bit unintuitive is that we're all the same. We're all the exact same. There are differences. I agree with that. There are differences. But truly, we're all the same. You know, when you look at water in a warm environment, it's a liquid. at a different temperature. It's a solid. Somewhere else, it might be a vapor. But we're all the same at the core of who we are. We all have our own unique struggles, and sometimes these struggles are hard to understand. You know, someone talked about the feminist movement earlier. Maybe for some men that's hard to understand. You can bring up another social issue, and if you aren't a part of that group, it might be hard to understand. But that's fine. It's okay that it's hard to understand other things that people are going through. Because at the end of the day, I think what unites us is that human struggle. And we're all paying attention to that human struggle, and I think we should continue to do that. We should continue to understand what is wrong in this world, because if you don't understand what's wrong, you won't be able to do what's right. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I don't speak Mandarin, but I just wanted to let you know that your voice is heard, your voice matters, and as somebody that was born in the United States, I think sometimes I personally take the freedoms that I've enjoyed for most of my life for granted. And coming here and showing solidarity with the people of China tonight has really helped me to remember those things that are really important. And my heart goes out to every single one of you that are going through these terrible and tough times right now. And as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I just know that we are all children of God and that He loves each and every one of you. We are brothers and sisters, and we are all created equal before God. And I know that we can have hope for the future. We can seek peace, we can seek love, and we can seek understanding. And I stand with the people of China, and that's all I have to say.
大家好，我就用中文讲了。我是一个在这边的留学生。我觉得在我前几天跟我的一个朋友，高中的朋友聊天，然后他跟我说他的一个梦。他是在深圳，深圳并不是一个经常被隔离的城市。他做梦梦到他们所有人都到了一个鬼屋一样的地方，然后他们要去把一只猫一直放在阳光下，因为这只猫是一个僵尸，然后它放在阳光下就可以把这只猫给杀死，所以他不断的想要杀死这只猫。然后我听了这个梦，我就一下子明白，他就是在讲疫情，因为他们每个人都我觉得这场运动之所以像星星之火一样可以燎原，是因为每个人都承受着或多或少的就是遭受这种清零政策的一些愤怒。就比如说我自己的吧，我也会因为回国的事情，然后会要接受各种各样的隔离，还有就是之前还听到身边的人他们会被莫名其妙被政府抓起来，然后被地方政府抓起来，然后要增加隔离的时间，这都是很小的痛苦。然后当我们看到这乌鲁木齐的火灾的时候，我们所有人的痛苦终于之前像温水煮青蛙一样，我们不断的可以忍受，好像我们永远都可以这样忍受下去。但是直到这场火灾的时候，我们愤怒终于爆发了。之前我们这些愤怒都没有办法走向任何的地方，但是现在我们终于可以用抗议这种方式。之前的朋友说就是关于之前的朋友说的就是关于把真相传播出去，我也非常的认可，因为我感觉每个人他们心中都有一种愤怒，但是你要让他们说他们不支持，他们是不会说的，因为他们就活在那个国家。甚至是我自己，我也想回去，我当然想回去，我就是中国人，为什么不回去？但是我也没有办法做到，我现在没有那个勇气。他们现在是身处在，我特别尊敬我的所有的朋友，他们有的回国的，他们去参加抗议，然后他们现在有的被警察抓了，然后他们就还就是身边的人都会特别关心他，但他们是身处在这样的绝境里面的，包括他们如果上街，我们现在可以用各种各样的软件可以去聊天，但是他们所有的加密软件都没有用，因为警察会有便衣，他们会直接查他们手机的所有的记录，他们要去不断的去增强自己的反侦查，他们只是为了了解真相而已，但是他们现在要做出这么多excessive的努力， 只是为了获取真相，所以我也不知道到底怎么样能更多的帮助他们。我有的时候担心，我甚至是给他们发信息，我都怕连累他们。如果他们被警察在街上抽查手机的话，到底应该怎么样？我真的不知道。所以无论如何，我还是期待着，我还是觉得我是个中国人，然后我期待中国会变好，然后对我的朋友好像也要说。
Hello， 其实也，这跟刚刚一位兄弟说的一样，就是我作为中国人这辈子第一次参加游行，或者说这种就是 opinion 的表达。我感觉我有很多，我说一下自己的感觉，就是我感觉有很多以前一点一点积攒起来的愤怒，从来没有无处抒发的愤怒，他们逐渐积累成了一种 depression 一样的东西。然后当我站在这里，觉得我终于可以说出来那些不满的时候，可以跟大家站在一起说，原来所有人都有这样的不满，原来这些人真真切切的存在我的身边，站在我的身边，然后大家都在说非常相似的话语，我感到一种治愈，然后我也感到一种力量，就这种 depression 就真的会从我身上逐渐消失。我真的非常的谢谢能有这样的机会站到这里，然后跟大家站在一起，然后也就像刚刚那位美国的朋友说的，就是 they kind of like they probably take the freedom for granted, but we haven't had that type of freedom to take for granted. So that's something we can work on, and we also need to protect ourselves physically and mentally. Keep your anger, but don't burn yourself. Don't burn yourself. Keep yourself alive. Keep your friends alive. We have time and we still have a long journey to go. And sorry about the English-Chinese mixture. Yeah, thank you. That's all I want to say. Yeah.
喂，大家能听到吗？朋友们，我想我们今天聚集在这里的大家，是来自不同的国家，来自不同的民族，我们有不同的宗教信仰，在很多政治问题上，我们的立场也不一样。但是今天是什么把我们聚集到这里了？是我们对自由、民主的信仰和追求，把我们聚集到这里。我们中国人民在自己的历史上，乃至在世界的历史上，都是以温顺而著称的。特别是我们这一代人，89年以后成长起来这一代人，我们从小就听到父母有一句教诲，就是不要参与政治，不要关心政治。但是，我想从2020年的李文亮医生开始，一直到2、3年以来的种种悲剧，他清晰无误地向我们传达了一个信息，就是即使你永远不关心政治，也总有一天，政治它会来关心你。好，谢谢。所以我想，正如刚才几位朋友提到的，很多同学都是今天，包括我自己，都是第一次来参加这种活动。刚才一位朋友也提到，我们应该把一些事实告诉给仍在国内的朋友们，我完全赞同。但我想我们在讲述这些事实的时候，我们也要清晰地传递出我们的理念，那就是这一切悲剧、一切问题的根源是什么？是过于集中的权力，是不受制约的权利。这也是为什么我想我们的诉求、我们的口号，不仅仅是悼念逝者，也不仅仅是终结清零的政策，我们必须清晰地表达出我们的意见，喊出我们的口号，那就是终结独裁，罢免国贼，民主法治，表达自由。同胞们，近1个世纪以前，被称为民族魂的鲁迅先生，他曾经痛心疾首地 说过一句话，当然我保证啊，这句话真的是他说的。他说，中国的历史上只有2种时代，一种是我们想做奴隶而不得的时代，一种是我们暂时坐稳了奴隶的时代。的确，人权、民主、法治、自由，这些概念对我们这个古老的民族、古老的文明来讲，并不是很熟悉的概念。但是，自从鲁迅先生他们54那一批人开始，直到今天，100多年过去了。我想100年、1个世纪以来发生的种种事情，包括今天席卷全球的抗议浪潮，是向我们自己、向全世界的朋友们、向我们子孙后代证明了一点，那就是我们中国人并不都是天生的奴隶，中华民族绝不会永远甘于被奴役的命运。We the Chinese people will not be slaves forever. And with that, I would like to say a few words to, in English, especially, to the friends from the United States and around the world who are joining us here today. I want to thank you for showing up. You are very important, very special for us. We believe in a democratic country, the people's will is power. And we ask you, not for any economic support or monetary donation, but we do ask you to continue to pay attention, continue to follow the news from China, and if you can, please spread this information to your friends, to your family, to your colleagues, and let them know that we, the Chinese people, stand with you on the pursuit of liberty. Thank you.
首先我想说一点，就是我想对在那个正面写就是吃人血馒头的人，虽然我不想给你那么多的 attention， 但是我还是想让你回去看一看，从语文书上看一看人血馒头是什么意思。人血馒头从来都不是仅仅说是利用别人的苦难去获取利益，人血馒头在它的本意里说的是什么？说的是愚昧，是革命者的血白流了，但是人民群众还不知道革命为何意，还觉得人血馒头可以治肺痨。所以说什么？别让革命者的血白流，别让那些走上街头的勇敢的人他们的努力白费，也别让那些被消失的人永远的就被消失了。就是关于我们站在这里有什么意义，我们这场行动有什么意义，你们可能看到就是在社交媒体上有人在转说齐泽克说了一个比较 positive 的一个言论，他说如果我们想证明，就是如果未来有一天这一切都胜利了，那我们今天的努力就没有白费。那如果为了让我们这一切有意义，我们就要一直持续不断的努力，直到那一天的胜利来临。所以别停下来，坚持下去，我们都站在一起。
Hello， 朋友们好。实际上我现在在这里，我就想说几句话。我相信大家也都曾经听过，就是别人对我们说，就是我们做这些东西，我们有什么用吗？我曾经在 QQ 空间里去转过那个唐山的那件事情，然后就我有一个号的朋友就曾经跟我说，你转那个东西，那个唐山的大哥搁那吃羊肉腰子也不能分你任何东西啊，有什么用啊？他还是在那吃那个什么烤羊肉串什么玩意儿。但是我现在就是想说的是，虽然我们每个人单独的力量可能确实没有什么用，但是我想说的是，我们所有人如果能站在一起，那我们将会是不可被阻挡的。谢谢大家。
Hello everyone. Here I want to talk about why we're here today, because countless times have I asked myself, what's the point of all this? Because these protests are not like your usual protests.
Unfortunately, we cannot protest. We cannot take it to the street in China, and we have to do it here, and that's rather unusual. With these protests, it's unlike civil unrest. We're not really causing any issues for the government. We're not really forcing them to make change. We're just here in another country voicing our opinions. So I got lost in a while when all these started. I kept asking myself, why am I doing this? And I think I finally figured it out. A lot of these protests are not really for forcing the government to make a change directly. We know, all of us here today, all the protests across the US in the college campuses are not gonna force CCP to come down. We're not gonna force Xi Jinping to step down. But what we are doing is that we're leaving a record for history that we don't want to be slaves. There is a voice. There are people who truly believe in liberty, in freedom, in the freedom of speech. There are people who held these values even in the most difficult times. So I just want to ask all of you that for me, for you, for all of us here, for our future, to not keep silent in the face of tyranny and keep our voice alive for our future. Thank you.
我有几点大概要讲。第一个是，这里我们在分上看到的4项诉求：允许公开悼念、结束清零政策、释放维权同胞、保障民生。还有很多没有说的，一是前面大家都已经说过了，关闭集中营；二是追责，总有一些人要为这一切付出代价。我们可能在这里做不了什么，但是其中一点是不要忘记我们一开始为什么在这里，不要忘记在流量死的那一天晚上有多少的文章，有多少的声音消失了，不要忘记在所有死去的孕妇，不要忘记贵州，不要忘记乌鲁木齐，不要忘记唐山，不要忘记今年武汉，我知道这个前面没有人提过，今年武汉有一位跨性别女性被谋杀，不要忘记所有的一切，不要忘记为什么我们今天在这里，因为我们的抗争是共同的，不要忘记香港，不要忘记泰国，不要忘记乌克兰，不要忘记伊朗，我们所有人都在一起。谢谢。
不知道你们中有几个人知道2020年7月，乌鲁木齐同样发生了疫情的大爆发。2020年8月20日左右，许多人攻陷了北京超话、上海超话、广州超话，来控诉当时在疫情防控中乌鲁木齐发生的各种不合理的事件。曾经有一句名言，在新兴峡以西禁止死于新冠，你可以死于难产，可以死于窒息，但是在2020年8月的乌鲁木齐，你也不能死于新冠。当时还没有现在各种各样的变异毒株，但是整体来说控制难度可能还比现在容易。可是到了2022年，新疆或者说东突厥斯坦，或者说你们认为能接受的名字，一直生活在风控之中。而更悲惨的是，其实很多维吾尔人因为莫须有的罪名，他们甚至都不能待在家中，而是待在各个集中营里。我曾经读过洛普县第4集中营或者在职业技能教育培训中心的照片，相信你们也很多看过那张照片，就是很多穿着蓝色囚服的男子坐在那里，背影里有几个黑色的警察在那里巡逻，这似乎 我读了末日名单之后，我才知道，在当时维吾尔人能进集中营的理由很多很多，甚至只要你是所谓的不放心人员，比如说你是一名年轻男性，你有过护照，你去过土耳其，你手表设置的是东6区而不是东8区，你都可以进集中营接受再教育。至于朝觐的穆斯林必做的功课，那正是当局极力防范的对象。我们人还能来到美国，已经所实幸运。众多的维吾尔人，他们都无法办到护照，也难以，甚至都难以离开他们自己的家乡，从南疆到乌鲁木齐，从新疆到内地，他们需要这种这样的困难。如到一地，警察就会上门来检查你的证件，很多酒店都不愿意接受维吾尔人入住，很多这种这样的工作机会也都说不招维藏回彝等民族。我作为一个普通的中国公民，我对现状感到十分的可惜。一个国家外交部发言人却在那里从不正视自己国家的问题，自己的老婆反而倒选择了德国。在这种就是讽刺的环境下，我只能说，我一为维吾尔人这么多年遭受到的不幸感到默哀。同时，我们也知道，无论是集中营制度，还是动态清零制度，还是以后更多的事情，它本身都是一个只对上负责，不对下负责的体系中产物。因为你要对上负责，你要保证没有所谓的爆孔事件，没有所谓的病例。不然你就会被辱官，甚至因为各种莫须有的罪名进监狱。但是你对下你没有任何责任，所以自然而然能干出这种这样违反人性的行为，因为你对此不需要负责任。我最后也希望，无论是能够对在维吾尔集中营的始作俑者们进行追责，包括陈全国总督，包括习近平。以及这种幕后的人物，谢谢大家。
Hello, I'm a second-generation Chinese American here today, and before I came out here to this event, I was a little bit hesitant. I was wondering to myself whether I belong here and whether it's my place, but I'm very glad I came today, and it is my place to be here as someone who is Chinese and care a lot about my home country, and I also wish that more Chinese Americans like me would care more about things that are happening, in our home country, and come out, talk about it, share it, and be more involved. And I love China. I love my home country. I love the food, the culture, the landscapes, and it's somewhere that I call home. But I think a lot of Chinese Americans like me also have a sense of shame associated with it, especially being here in America. I felt ashamed that my beloved country is under such an oppressive regime, and that the people didn't seem to be doing anything about it, whether because they couldn't or because they didn't want to. And I never thought I would be able to see so many people gather and protest in China across so many different cities, and even Chinese people protesting across so many different countries around the world. And it also warms my heart to see today here a lot of people that are not Chinese supporting our cause. I'm proud to be here today, to stand here alongside with all of you guys, and there is hope in the future. Thank you.
那我们现在就唱这首歌吧。 So now we're gonna listen to a couple of songs, and then if you are familiar with the lyrics or if you feel like you want to sing along, please feel free to do so. So the first song we're gonna sing along to is "Do You Hear the People Sing?" And then, well, I guess someone's handing out flyers with the lyrics printed on it. So feel free to share a piece of paper with the people standing next to you, and then, yeah, so I guess we'll get started on that.
Beyond the barricades, there's a world you want to see. And you join the fight that will give you the right to be free.
Do you hear the people sing? Sing the song of angry men. It is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start. Tomorrow comes.
Will you escape? Is so that our banner may advance. Some willful soul and slave will use their knob and take their chance. The blood of the matter will water the mate of a friend.
Hear the people sing, sing the song of angry men. It is the music of the people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of the heart echoes the beating of the drum, there is a life about to start. Tomorrow comes.
你先连就好了。这是麦克风的那个。
你连上，它这也有一个，这个能关掉。
Alright, I'm not in charge of anything. I'm just here because I can't stand the awkward silence. How many of you have told your parents they will be here? Nobody. How many of your parents support you being here? Okay, very little. So give yourselves a round of applause for standing here today. Good job. Did you guys figure it out yet?
Yeah,
Alright, gotcha.
Sort of, perhaps, possibly.
再回来。你是否理解？你是否明白？也许我倒想，再不能期待。你是否还要永久的期待？如果是这样，你不要悲哀。共和国的旗帜上有我们血染的风采。如果是
We'll switch the song.
We're gonna switch to another song, that's okay, because I feel like, I don't know if anyone here is, I don't think a lot of people here are familiar with that song, so we're gonna choose one that resonates more with our generation. Which is 送别。
送别大家都会唱吗？
应该会吧。I don't know.
好，we'll give it a try.
长亭外，古道边，芳草碧连天。晚风拂柳笛声残，夕阳山外山。天之涯，地之角。知交半零落，一壶浊酒尽余欢，今宵别梦寒。清浅绿，酒一杯，声声离地碎。天之涯，地之角，知交半零落。一壶浊酒尽余欢，今宵别梦寒。天之涯，地之角。知交半零落，问君此去几时还？来时莫徘徊。君此去几时还？来时莫徘徊。
Are you a student? I graduated. 我等会儿。行。
留好不挖发，可以。这留好不挖发的。我是有而已。谁能带领？I want to graduate as a parent. Many people don't 考那个的 WiFi 黑呀。Many students need to connect 19了不黑。That's the number rate. That is stuff. I want to report that stuff to the police.
Just Chinese for now. 就一个喊一遍。你要先做一个双峰。对。Hello. Oh, that was loud. So this part is gonna be all Chinese, and we'll have a English portion after. Are you guys ready? 没有暴徒，只有暴政。没有暴徒，只有暴政。不要忘记，不该忘记，不会忘记，不要原谅，不该原谅，不会原谅，允许公开悼念。结束清零政策，释放维权同胞，保障人民权利，和国内人民站在一起，和维吾尔人站在一起，和西藏人站在一起，和香港人站在一起，和台湾人站在一起，和伊朗人站在一起，和乌克兰人站在一起，和全世界反抗独裁、反抗压迫、反抗暴力的人们站在一起。和全世界反抗独裁、反抗压迫、反抗暴力的人们站在一起。不要核酸，要吃饭。不要核酸，要吃饭。不要封控，要自由。不要封控，要自由。不要谎言，要尊严。不要谎言，要尊严。不要文革，要改革。不要文革，要改革。不要领袖，要选票。不要领袖，要选票。不做奴才，做公民。不做奴才，做公民。
This is the end of our event, so feel free to leave if you want to. And there's still candles over there, so if anyone wants to send their blessings to the people who passed away, feel free to. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you.